In 2020, I became a platinum selling producer on one of Rod Wave's songs named Freestyle. I did all the guitar on it. It exploded on YouTube and had as much as 88 million views on the YouTube music video alone. But even with all of that, this almost destroyed my entire production career because I wasn't ready. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 3 lessons that I learned the hard way so you can avoid the mistakes that I made. And real quick, my students have generated 5 figures in beat deals this week alone without placements, without a following, and without YouTube type beat channels. Because I'm feeling generous today, I'm giving away all of the info that I teach them for free. So if you want to learn how to find serious artists that actually buy your beats entirely for free, I'll give you a free course on that. And all you have to do is go over to Instagram at Kobe Sample Source, DM me the word Spotify, and I'll send you over the free course. All right, let's hop back into the video. Lesson number 1 is be ready when attention is on you. After I got the Rod Wave placement, I had so much attention on me. I had Jetson Made talking about wanting loops made in my style. I had Rap Caviar follow me, and you can go and verify that on KobeBeats_official. They still follow me to this day. Dozens of major producers were following me, and I was getting tons of credibility in big cities where rap was central, like Atlanta. Being a bedroom producer, I wasn't ready for that kind of attention, and whenever my manager and whenever other producers that I worked with were wanting more samples, more volume, they had more opportunities, I completely fumbled because I didn't have the right infrastructure for that. I didn't have the catalog, I didn't have the loops, I didn't have the softwares to be able to create the amount of volume that they needed. It's like winning the lottery without having a bank account set up to send that money to. It all just slips away right through your fingers. I wasn't ready to go from where I was at, making one placement every 3, 4, or 5 months, to getting a placement every 3, 4, or 5 weeks. The takeaway from this is build your infrastructure the right way, the slow way, before you have the spotlight on you. Have a catalog ready, have a personal brand that's already established and has content that's lined up. Be prepared with an entertainment attorney, and whenever you have opportunities that pop up, you're already educated and well-versed in everything that's coming your way so that you know what to do with each opportunity. All right, lesson number 2 is to know what vehicle that you're in. And what I mean by this is whenever you're selling beats or you're selling your production online, there's different vehicles that you can hop in. You can hop in the placement vehicle, which is the one that I was in. You can hop in the online beat lease vehicle, which is basically putting your stuff onto YouTube, for example, or posting content online. There's also other vehicles where you can get sponsors, and you're going to be focused more on growing a YouTube channel, or you can focus on selling to producers, which is like drum kits, sample packs, VSTs, and that sort of thing. So previous to me getting this placement, I had dabbled into this and gotten a few placements that were smaller, but nothing on this scale. So what I was used to doing, because I was already a full-time producer, was just putting beats online, posting content, getting into the DMs with artists, and just selling little leases to artists. This didn't require me to make a high volume of beats because I was just leasing them ideas so I could resell the same ideas over and over again. Now, while that works for beat leasing, when it comes to placements, it's the complete opposite, because working with a lot of people who are in Rod Wave's camp, who are in Jetson Made's camp, and other bigger producers, I had to come up with individual labs for each of those producers, meaning the amount of volume had gone up from just making 10 loops a month to sometimes making 10 loops in a week. Because I didn't know what vehicle I was in, which is I need to make high volume of high quality stuff, I ended up making high volume of low quality stuff because the only really good ideas I had were because I would take a long time on each idea until it sounded perfect. But then when I would send it out, they're like, we need 10 exactly like this. And I was like, hey, God gave me that idea. I don't have another one. It's going to take me some time to come up with that. So I wasn't able to come out with the amount of volume that was needed to line up opportunities. And so when it comes to placements, if you're trying to really get paid from this, you need to be lining up consistent placements so that you can get consistent advances. You need to be lining up consistent placements so that you can be getting that into your PRO, so that it can be generating streams, getting mechanical royalties if you have that built in as well. So if you're not getting a high volume of placements, or you're not working with high value artists that have big budgets to spend, then you're not going to be getting paydays consistently. So what happened to me that almost destroyed my career is that I was putting a massive amount of energy into doing all of these individual loops. I wasn't able to meet the deadlines for project submissions. And because of all of that, I wasn't actually landing any of these opportunities, getting people to cut to records and actually release them. And even if they did, it just wasn't high enough volume for me to get a lot of advances coming through. So in 5 years in the music industry, I only made $40,000. So that's not going to pay the bills, but I put all of that time and attention into it, which is why I almost had to go back to a job that I was at before because I was not putting my attention in the right places. So that's why you need to know what vehicle you're in so that you can focus on that. It's not just about working hard, it's about working on the right vehicle that's gonna take you where you wanna go. Lesson 3, don't listen to people who are in a destination that you don't want to arrive in. There's probably producers in your feed right now that are living off of publishing splits, they're getting massive advances on records, they're living lavishly, they're able to travel a lot and work with all the producers that you probably want to work with. But the question that I would submit to you is that path of them getting to where they are right now, is that a path that you actually can afford to go down? And that's just monetizing wise. Do you have the ability to do that with your finances? And number 2 is like, do you actually want those experiences, or does that just look cool for social media? I've been invited to sessions with Quake Global. I've been invited to sessions with June the Genius. I've worked with big producers like Twisted Genius. I've worked with TNT, and I've worked with a lot of producers who are in big sessions with artists like Rihanna, Big Sean, and others. Now, while that all sounds really good on paper, being able to afford to do all of those trips when you were just a full-time producer living on a small budget, not making 5 figures online, it can be really expensive to take just one trip. So if you're blowing $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a trip just to get a few opportunities, what you're not realizing is that even if you get into the studio with these producers or artists, that doesn't mean that they're actually going to play what's on your hard drive. And even if they do, it doesn't mean they're going to cut to any records. Even if they cut to any records, it doesn't mean that they're actually not going to shelve that record or going to put it out on their next project. And even if they do, it doesn't mean that they're going to put that song out immediately. It may be years. Now, even when all that's said and done, they could even put the song out, and if the paperwork's not right, if you're not working with honest people, or if you don't have the right representatives with a manager or an entertainment attorney, sometimes you'll still get screwed out of the money that's owed you. Meaning it can take months, years, or even never where you actually get paid, and you could have a song out there that's generating money that you're not being paid for. Now, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but there are producers out there where it looks like they're successful on paper. They have tons of big placements. Their bio is full of credits, and they are still working 9 to 5. They are not actually making this their living. So they have all of this clout, but they have no cash. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself is that a path that I want to go down where I can be famous, but not have my finances in order? If the question is no, then don't listen to anybody who's telling you to sign that deal. Don't listen to anybody who's saying you need to come here so that we can work on this guaranteed opportunity, because most of the time, that is absolute BS. Nobody can guarantee you a placement. Nobody can guarantee you success, but everybody can say that they have an opportunity for you that could change your life. I personally know people who make great livings off of the music industry, so this isn't everyone, but most producers are absolutely broke who are doing this lifestyle of chasing placements, trying to wear clothes they can't afford, trying to appear like they're successful when they're actually not. So don't fall for that. You can live simple. You can stay in your home studio and make way more money than a lot of these producers who chase placements. And if that's you, I'm not attacking you, but maybe you should re-itemize your priority in terms of where you want to go off of this. Because if it's been years and you're getting all of these credits stacked in your bio, but you're not seeing any of the payoff or reward from all the time and energy it takes to get all of those, then maybe it's time to switch. If you copy someone else's moves, you also copy their destination. So the main takeaway from this is only follow mentors who are in the place where you want to be in 5 to 10 years. So if you're a serious producer right now, these 3 lessons will save you a lot of wasted time, energy, and money. And the way that I sell beats now is instead of chasing a following, instead of chasing placements, and instead of trying to chase views on YouTube type beat channels, I reach out to artists directly who are already beat buying artists. I message them, get them onto a call where I sell them packages of beats for $1,000 or more. I had a student sell three $3,500 packages that are non-exclusive in the last 14 days, all using this method. I call it the rapid sales system, and I have nothing to sell you in this video. I actually want to give you the secret for free on how to find these serious beat buying artists. So all you have to do to access that is go over to Instagram at Kobe Sample Source, message me the word Spotify, and I'll send you over a training video and a free course exactly how to do this for yourself. So make sure you go over to Instagram at Kobe Sample Source, DM me Spotify, and I'll send that over to you for free. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.